Hello and welcome to the Chef JoeMac series. The very first episode today is on food safety and sanitation. I'm hoping that you'll sit through the whole thing. I promise it won't be too long, but it's really important because folks, this is not about food safety and sanitation in the restaurant kitchen, but our kitchens, your kitchens, the American kitchen. Let me give you some astounding stats that 1 in 6 people get sick every year, 128,000 people are hospitalized, and about 3,000 people die every single year from food-borne illnesses that is created in the kitchen, your kitchen, our kitchen. Now, some of you are probably saying, yeah, I've been cooking for 50 years and nobody's died. Well, you're lucky, they're lucky. So kind of bear with me as I go through some of this, and hopefully it'll create some insights as to what you can do in your kitchen to prevent food illnesses, and well, hopefully someone won't die. Just finished giving you some stats on what happens in our kitchens when we don't do the basics. And the most important basic to cooking and food safety in the kitchen is hand washing, believe it or not. Every time that you move from area to area, you grab something out of the refrigerator, touch something, your countertops, your hair, your apron, you should wash your hands anytime you do that. Second part to all this is cross-contamination. Again, every time you touch something and go back to the product itself, you can contaminate that product. Contact surfaces. Countertops are not properly disinfected before you place the product on it itself, can cause foodborne illnesses and disease. High touch points, door handles, light switches, your apron, all those are things that you touch often, that then we go back to the product itself and we forget to wash our hands. Think about how many times you flip on that light switch and have not washed your hands. You keep going back to it, and then you go back to the product itself, and now you've contaminated that product. And that's one of the reasons people get sick when it comes to not doing the basics. And the basic of basics is wash your hands, or wear gloves. I do it sometimes in the kitchen, but I always wash my hands. Some easy fixes to making sure you don't cross-contaminate is cutting boards, for example. And then today they make different color cutting boards that will go with different products to eliminate that cross-contamination. And I mentioned hand washing, changing gloves every time you move from area to area, because really, believe it or not, that's important. Storing a product in your refrigerator, both cooked and uncooked. Always make sure that you store uncooked product on top and cooked product on the bottom. And the reason is that if there's any type of drippage, you don't want that hot stuff coming down on the cold stuff, and now you've got cross-contamination and where bacteria can grow once you bring it out of the refrigerator. Another thing is cooling things like soups, or really, whether even a piece of meat. Make sure you bring it down to temperature before you store it in a refrigerator, because this is where bacteria can grow. If product is stored hot in a refrigerator, bacteria grows. Now it's frozen, brought out, and the bacteria is there, and you can get hurt that way. Times and temperatures. The temperature danger zone where bacteria can grow in all perishable products, items, is 40 degrees to 140 degrees. Below 40, refrigerated. Above 40, cooked to a temperature where it'll kill the bacteria. So that temperature danger zone is 40 to 140, and that should really be the standard. Things like meats, pork, etc., you've got to cook it to at least 145 degrees. Take a thermometer. Even in your kitchen, believe it or not, you should have a thermometer. Check that meat before you actually pull it off the grill or off the stove, that it's at least 145 degrees. Poultry, 165 degrees, because again, it's the texture, it is, salmonella grows, so be careful with that. 165 degrees on all types of poultries. Fish and shellfish, 145 degrees. How do you check shellfish? Again, that little thermometer pin, just put it in there. Fish, easy enough, 145 degrees. Eggs, heating eggs, cooking eggs, 160 degrees minimum, because again of salmonella. Leftovers, any type of leftover, whether it's soups, meats, whatever it is, you should reheat everything to a minimum of 165 degrees. Easiest thing to have is a thermometer that you can use to probe those items before you eat them. Pull them off the grill, pull them off the stove, because it's important. We talked a little bit ago about refrigerated products. Now let me give you some interesting stats. And again, I know some of us break the rules, and in some cases none of us have gotten sick, or no one's died from it. But the standard should be, in order to prevent someone from getting sick or getting foodborne illnesses, raw meats in a refrigerator should be stored from 3 days to 5 days before either cooking it or putting it in the freezer. Poultry, 1 to 2 days. Really important because of bacteria growth, especially in that type of meat. 1 to 2 days in the refrigerator before cooking or putting it back in the freezer. Raw fish, again, 1 to 2 days. Those are very sensitive types of products that bacteria will just go right to it, and real important that you handle it that way. Cooked meats, 3 to 5 days in the refrigerator before eating, reheating. Poultry, 3 to 4 days, 1 day less. And the same thing with cooked fish, 3 to 4 days. So if you follow those guidelines, you can guarantee that that product is not in your refrigerator too long and you won't get sick. Do you wash your vegetables and your fruit before eating it? Think about how long some of that product sits on a shelf at your grocery store. How many people squeeze the tomatoes? How many people grab that peach or apple? All those different hands that touch that product, and where have they been? We don't know. Think about all the bacteria that's already there and it's growing, and then you eat it without washing it when you get home. The standard should be that you should wash all vegetables, you should wash all fruit before you eat it. I mean, it's gonna keep you safe, and again, really important because most people just don't do it. So keep safe, make sure you wash all your fruit and vegetables before eating it. There's actually such a thing as veggie wash that you can get it for things like watermelon. And you're asking, why do I need to wash a watermelon when I'm not gonna eat the outside of the watermelon? But think about that, what's on it. Where do watermelons grow? On the ground, right? Talk about E. coli, right? And then you bring it home, you take that knife, you cut through it. As you cut it through it, you're pulling whatever's on that surface into the watermelon itself, the parts that you're gonna eat. So washing the watermelon, for example, with veggie wash is really important. Or wash it in any way. Any type of wash is better than no wash at all. But know that there are many things out there when it comes to vegetables and fruit that can hurt you if you don't properly handle it when you get home. Have you tried our spices yet? If you haven't, give it a try. Here's an opportunity for you to win one of our spices of your choice. Write your answer below at the end here, and I'll pick a winner. So we have something in our kitchen that is the dirtiest of the dirtiest thing you could possibly imagine, that we use over and over again, and we don't necessarily wash or put in a dishwasher. This is located in a piece of equipment, I would say, or a utensil, but it is the size of a dime, the thickness of a dime. Can you guess it?